Hello, 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 hello. Hey, I'm here for another fireside chat from Welcome. What's up? Doing an evening stream tonight. What's going on? What's going on in the world? What's going on in your life? What's going on in other people's lives? Let's talk about it. Come on up. Let's see. I'm checking the news. Trump. Anything else? Winter storm is coming. If you're in the Midwest or on the East Coast, you have some weather coming your way. Bundle up, stay warm, cozy, get your fires going, get your long johns on. Let's see if there's any social media stuff going on. Ooh, excuse me, tweets. Oh, I have a video I wanted to play, but I'll have to wait till tomorrow. I don't know how to do it on my phone. I'll be out tomorrow at my usual time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Hey, Kane, welcome. What have you been up to? What's going on? Just hanging out on a, what is it, Wednesday? Hanging out on a Wednesday. And seeing who's around, seeing who's out there, seeing if anybody has anything they want to talk about. Getting ready for bed. Yep. I had a late nap, and so I'm up with not much to do. I figured, why not do a vertical? And tomorrow is probably going to be my last stream at the regular time because the job starts on Friday. And the streams are going to be very irregular from there. I don't know what time each day I'm going to be able to do them. But Friday evening, we're going to do a Valentine's. People with no Valentines, nothing to do on Valentine's. Are you the vertical people? Piano Cat, Malkuth. That's from Kabbalah. Generation Malkuth X. I don't even know what that is. I think that's a game, right? A video game? No, not at all. I can't wait. I got it like 3 weeks ago, so I've been waiting to start. I feel like I'm on a very extended vacation. And my body was ready to be working weeks ago. So plus I think the first like few days or week or so is just going to be orientation and training, and I don't know if I'll be actually doing job stuff yet. How's your job going, Lou? I think you had just started a new one, and there were things potentially going on. Oh, thank you, Piano Cat. We love new subscribers and new community members. Oh, Malcolm X. I just got it. I didn't even think of that. Malcolm X. Yeah. What's the X for? Other than it's the 10th sphere and X is 10. But yeah. I do an open panel show every day. And this is just my unknown. Okay. This is just my little bonus evening stream that I sometimes do. But normally I'm out during the day for a regular open panel. Like work anxiety about just the stress of, am I doing the job right? Who's looking over my shoulder? Who's watching me? What are the people in charge thinking? What's the main point of my channel? That's a good question. The main point is it's a conversation. It's a mental health channel, but it's a conversation space. It is a place for people to come and talk about the things they want to talk about without being censored or micromanaged. It's a place where people can come and be themselves and get the things off their chest or out of their minds that they want to get. And we get a lot of people out of their minds. And it's also a support network. It's a community. We have a Discord. It's men's mental health mostly, but we have all types, all genders, mostly men though, and neurodivergent, autism, ADHD. It's people that don't fit in with the normie crowd. Let's see. You think? Yeah, it depends on the job. What? Oh, I hear that a lot. Like I have a friend that's trying to staff his place, and he's running into the same thing. He said he's stuck with the prison, the people out of prison and that kind of stuff that are looking for jobs. What kind of work? What kind of field are you in? Oh yes, and we have this thing right here. Not laws. Kendo. Um, the thing for me at a new job, face reveal. I can show my face. I'm not at my desk. I usually stream. You know what? Just go on my channel because most of my streams have me streaming from my desk. But in the evening, I use my phone and I stream from the couch, and so it's not as easy for me to show a face. Plus, I'm not very good with my phone. Um, the not the hardest part, but the most unpredictable part are I guess the part of starting a new job that gives me the most concern that I have to watch out for is the social dynamics. It's getting to know the coworkers, getting adjusted to you're the newcomer coming into an existing social dynamic, getting to know the politic, the office politics involved, the culture. Yeah, that is that could take weeks, sometimes months. But it's not that different really than entering a new online community or going on a new panel and hanging out and like seeing what a YouTube community is about. You spend a few days, a few weeks getting to know the people and getting adjusted to the norms. Hopefully, if it works like it's supposed to work in my head, which it never does, I'm just going to basically be showing up and doing the job and going home. There's not going to be a lot of office politics involved, but people never really work that way. Oh Lord, I know what that's like. Yeah, that's mostly what I get fired for is politics. Like I come, it's like Secret Survivor. I come down on the wrong side of the plots and schemes and alliances in the offices. In the office, what were you? What are you fired for? Like the non. Mine is always non-work related stuff. People that because I do good work. That's part of the problem. Is I do good work. I usually do better work when you're a newcomer and you do better work than the existing people, that already sets up a problematic dynamic because they're all adjusted to each other's poor or mediocre results and they kind of compensate and babysit for each other. Oh, yeah, Joe, I'll let you in. I didn't hear my little ding. There you go.
Yo.
We don't have your lovely avatar today. Your little German dude. It might have something to do with the vertical.
It could. No.
You're just a little white spot.
I wonder if I have to add something.
But I see you in the chat as it's showed up in the chat, but not on the screen.
Um. Oh,
But anyway, welcome. What's on your head?
my headset.
Ah, what's on your mind? Your mindset?
There we go. Jeff with the funnies. We got it in.
I'm
Pretty
here all
early for
week.
2025, but no, I got back from bar trivia. It was pretty fun.
I guess you didn't win.
We did not win the trivia, but I did win Limbo, which is a bonus game they do between rounds for an extra point.
Like actual limbo, like limbo, do limbo pole, do the limbo rock.
So yeah, they get like a pull stick, and then each team
Yeah.
sends it the person.
Oh,
So I won
okay.
this time.
That's cool. I love limbo. That's impressive. That's hard to win.
Yeah, I haven't won before, so it was pretty nice. I got a T-shirt and a little like notebook thing for it.
How many people were you competing against?
There were four other people, I think. You know,
Oh,
there's
that's not
one per
bad.
team.
So you were the
Yeah,
most limber of the limboers.
yeah, this
Limbo
time
limboers.
I don't think I've ever had maybe more than 7 or 8 other opponents. Um, so that's not it wasn't too unusual. But yeah, usually there's someone who's like shorter or like really flexible. But although uh the girl who came in second, she asked me like how I got so flexible. I was like, I don't know. I've played it like 10 times.
Oh. Yeah, here's here y'all go subscribe to Piano Cat. I will put here's her its channel in there's the channel for no, that's not the channel. Hang on. That's the ad, but it's not the channel. Um and give Piano Cat some subs if you want. All right, here's Piano Cat coming up. It looks like you go vertical, Piano Cat. I see your videos that you have on there are like shorts and stuff. I'm trying to learn how to do all that. YouTube said for Valentine's Day, if you go vertical for Valentine's, they have these extra perks and gifts and stuff that you can get bonuses from. But I think I'm still going to do just a normal Valentine's stream. Do you have Valentine's plans?
So there's that campus group I mentioned before, that the copying current events one, and they do they have a late night event they do every other Friday. So the discussion is in the morning every other Friday, and then staggered between those are the late night meetings where they do a war game thing, and that'll be this Friday, so I'll be going to that.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds fun. Actually, that's way more exciting of a Valentine's that I have. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Piano Cat's link, or it should be.
yeah. So the main scenario they're doing right now is North Korea versus South Korea. Um, so yeah.
Who who do you think's
And
gonna
there's
win?
uh the smart aggressive person is in North Korea. Well, I mean, there's a smart guy in South Korea, but I don't know. He's actually a buddy of mine. Uh, and I've actually had coffee a few times outside of the meetings, and I don't know. I think he's gonna be hard to contain.
How many how many people are? Is it like teams?
Yeah, so it's like people like they control different parts of like the militaries and stuff, so they control different units. It's like a really fancy board game basically that is designed actually for like US military purposes, like operational planning and stuff. The point of the wargaming, it's like actually designed in mind to like run through scenarios and test responses to things. It's like a simulation.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's how Dungeons and Dragons started. It was from the wargaming hobby.
Yeah. It's basically stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. I don't know that Valentine's will be very you know much a focus that night.
Do you think any of these people have girlfriends? Or
I know
boyfriends, partners, anything.
some of the guys do. At the last one, which was the first war game for the semester, a bunch of girls sat at the table together. One was dressed where, like, how do I? It seems like the way she was dressed. It seems like
Slutty.
she wanted people to see her ass.
Yeah,
So I'm
slutty.
guessing. So I'm guessing she is not seeing someone. It seems I'm guessing she was trying to get attention.
Oh,
So
so they have girls that show up to this thing.
yeah, I was kind of surprised actually. Um, I don't know how long they'll stay. Like last semester, there were not a lot of girls showing up other than the ones directly involved in the club showing up toward the end of the semester.
What color is their hair
Uh,
usually?
they don't have really weird hair colors, I guess, other
Oh,
than like
okay.
maybe like blonde highlights, which are pretty common for girls to do now.
Okay. Well, yeah, that sounds. It sounds like a good Valentine's Day for nerds.
Yeah, probably not bad.
I saw a video you posted in Discord earlier, but I didn't really understand it about taking the red and the blue pill.
Oh yeah, yeah. So the scenario is that people can either take a red or a blue pill. It's not the Matrix, so it could be a red or a blue button. There's a red and blue option, we'll say. If you take the blue option, um, well, so a lot of people take this. So like everyone in the scenario is taking it, and apparently you're not just taking it for yourself, but you're taking it for your whole household. So whoever is in your household also gets your
Myself.
choice.
Okay.
So if more than 50%, so a majority of people uh, take the blue option, everybody lives. However, if less, oh hey Kane, hi. I didn't say hi before, but I'll say hi
Joe
now.
said hi.
Hi, how you doing? What's up? What's good, girl?
Hey, girl. Hey. So if is it like Prisoner's
Oh,
Dilemma or one of those logic game theory?
yeah, kinda. So yeah, I didn't finish saying. The red option, if everyone takes that, or like if a minority take that, then only they live and all the blues die. So
Wait,
basically,
I thought the if the majority of blues, if it's the majority blue, then everybody lives. So how can the red minority end up killing people anyway?
I mean, if a majority picks red, blah, I misdid it. If a majority
Oh,
picks red,
okay.
then the blues die. So which is the best to choose? So yeah, if a majority pick
There's
blue,
no
everyone lives.
other
If a majority pick
conditions. That's
red, only the reds live and the blues die. Those are your choices. Which is the best choice? You're not just choosing for yourself too. Your whole household gets pulled
well.
with.
Who would choose red? What's the
I would.
incentive for choosing red?
Red is the best and most rational choice.
But why? If because blue, there's no risk of death. Red, there's risk of death.
No, no. Red. Blue dies with red. If you choose red and a majority pick red, the blues die, the reds live.
But if they don't get a majority, then everybody dies.
No. So
Oh,
there's no
okay.
everybody dies. It's if a majority pick blue, everyone lives. If a majority pick red, only the reds live and the blues die.
So red has more risk of death. Blue, there's no death.
No. Red is the only one that doesn't get you killed. Because if you pick red and a majority pick blue, then you live
You're
because
still
everyone
not going to
lives.
die.
But if majority pick red, then you still
Then the
live and only the
blues
blues die.
die.
Yeah.
So if you want to live, you should pick red, even if it means losing a few blues.
But the thing is, if
But
everyone
if
just
they
stops
pick
thinking
blue,
about it,
they're the idiots. Those are the people you want to die anyway.
yeah.
You
So if
you want to
everyone just
cull the
takes
pack.
like a minute to think about it, red is the smart choice. Everyone should pick red, and then everyone lives, and there's a 0% chance. death.
Right.
So
Only the dummies would pick blue.
yeah, basically the test is like it's really just testing how, like you said, how dumb you are. Do you have this gut reaction like, ugh, only selfish,
Because the
aggressive
goal
people
of
would pick
picking
red?
blue is to keep everyone from dying. But if everyone picked red, that's what would accomplish the goal.
Yeah, if you trust everyone to be smart enough to
You
pick
can't do
red,
that. Yo, God, you can't ever do that.
all right, but then if they're not smart enough, then maybe they should die. Maybe we don't want them.
But what if there's more dummies than smart people? That's the smart people still live, but I guess the dummies. Well,
Well,
we would all live.
Elon is making the Optimus robots so they can just do the work that the dummies were doing.
What do we do with the dummies?
But they just die. They go, "Bleh."
Oh, take care, piano, and have fun with the Roblox. I hope you win. No, I mean in real life. If Elon's replacing all the stupid people with robots, what do we do with the stupid people?
We just kind of slide them over and
To
go around
what? To where? Just like put them in front of the Netflix and
them.
let them play
Let's
with their belly
let's be
buttons all
clear.
day?
Let's be clear. That's basically what they already do.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. That's like that's the pinnacle of existence. For previous situations, civilizations, to sit around by the campfire all day and watch opera or
Kane asked, "Can we put
plays
them on an
or
island?"
stuff that's the pinnacle of luxury.
Hey, Kane, can we put us on an island?
I would live on an island. Me and my friend one time, I'm not. This is serious. We were going to build. He sent me this video of that guy that built an island out of plastic jugs, and he floated it across the ocean. You could like paddle it, and you could put sand and palm trees, and he had a little house on it and everything. We were going to do that. I was very inspired to try that. I would totally live on an island. I pretty
You
much
built the
do.
island with plastic jugs.
Yeah, I forgot what kind of jugs. Water, like empty plastic water bottle, like a whole layer of them, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And that was the layer of the island. And then he covered it with stuff like a tarp or something. And then he put sand on top of that, thick layers of sand. So it was like an actual island. And he had palm trees on it. I think he had a little hut. He had furniture, chairs, stuff, like all kind of stuff on it. It was like a functional island, and then he could paddle it. He had this big pole that he would paddle it with. Let me see if I can find it. This is like 10 or 15 years ago.
Hmm.
There's something called Joxy, which is a floating bottle island of 150,000 recycled plastic bottles. Oh, yeah. Richard Sowa, here he is. I'll put the YouTube link. I would share it if I could do it from my phone. So, yeah, if you're bored or you want to get away and you have the ingenuity to build a plastic island, here's the link.
Wow.
It's cool looking.
Let me take a look.
Now everyone's going to go over to the video. My numbers are going to drop, but it is worth looking at.
Interesting.
So yeah, just put. I don't think you have to put them anywhere. We have plenty of housing. Just give them something to do or something to entertain themselves with.
So you put dirt on it too. Okay.
And then here's another. Here's the one made of.
He made a shower
Might
for
be the
himself.
same one. Yeah, he has a kitchen and everything. Oh wait, is this the same guy? That Joxy? Yeah, this is the same guy. He built it out of 150 recycled plastic bottles.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why, like, I don't think people are victims of anything. I think with enough creativity, people can get to whatever goal they're trying to get to. I
Why
don't
can't
think that
more homeless
this idea
people?
that the system is holding people back, it didn't hold this guy back.
Uh, why can't more homeless people do stuff like that? you know, be creative like that. Yesterday, I was at the coffee shop, and this homeless guy, he walks in, okay, and as soon as he walks straight to me, like there's no crookedness between the line of where he entered through the front door and where I am. He comes straight to me. He just immediately started. I take off my headset. I'm like, "What are you saying? I can't understand." He can't even speak correctly. I smell alcohol in his breath, and I'm like, "No, I don't have any change."
He walked
And
straight over to the guy with headphones on his head.
yeah, seriously. And then he just goes to the next person. He just, it's like he's bouncing like a pinball.
Were
Everyone's
you the
saying, "No,
closest
no."
to the door?
I guess I'm not. I wasn't
Uh,
exactly close, but like I'm the first person he saw, and he just went
Maybe it
straight
was a
for me.
vibe thing. You
I mean,
you
I don't know if it's
just
a vibe.
picked up your vibe.
The guy is a drunk. I could smell it on his breath. I don't think there's vibes going on with him. He just, I'm the first target he saw.
Hmm.
He tried. He was in there like 5 minutes after everyone told him no. He just left, went outside, continued. I guess wherever his next
Maybe
place
Elon
is.
can make some robots to replace the drunks.
No, yeah. If they're gonna be drunks, they can at least be like Bender in Futurama and be funny.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
But
that's a
I
great
mean,
show.
what's the harm to society if people want to? I guess our healthcare system, maybe, if people want to just sit around and in a little apartment and drink all day, as long as they're not hurting anybody.
I don't know that there are very many people who get drunk and don't end up hurting somebody.
Oh, I know plenty of people that can drink. I used to drink in Vegas. I did a lot of drinking. I would wake up and start my drinking. It was pretty much a daily thing, not in an alcoholic kind of way, just in a that's just what you do in Vegas. You drink. It was a lifestyle thing. New Orleans too. Sometimes, especially when I lived in the French Quarter. You wake up, you have your little morning cup of scotch, and you just drink throughout the day and pass out in the afternoon, and then wake up and do it again, and then pass out in the evening. And it's just kind of a daily thing. But I wasn't hurting anybody.
Well, if you're an alcoholic,
I don't
um,
know. I'm not an alcoholic, I guess. But that if
uh,
you're an alcoholic, then you're hurting yourself, right? It's no, not lots, because the difference is I had stopping points. Like there's a point. I don't like the feeling of being drunk. So there's a point that I reach where I stop drinking because it's getting to be beyond the level that I want to be at. I like to keep a little buzz. And alcoholics will continue to drink and drink and drink and drink and drink, and they can't stop the drinks from coming. I was very much, and there were some days where I didn't drink at all because I didn't feel like it. So I wasn't drinking out of a craving or a need from alcohol. I was drinking out of boredom or culture, or like that's just what everybody else around was doing. Like you go to the casinos, they're bringing you drinks. There's lots of, especially the gay life. There's lots of house parties. Somebody's always handing you a drink.
China
Well,
says she's terribly
I'm
inappropriate
not
when
an
speaking.
alcoholic, so you're mistaken. Your internet bartending skills are mistaken. Trying to read me through the internet based on a 30-second story.
Man, when you say terribly inappropriate, do you mean that you say really risky things, or do you mean like you like throw yourself at someone,
Yeah,
or is it even something else?
Connie, we need you to expand on that.
Or is it a third thing that that doesn't apply to either of what I said? Those are the immediate things that come to mind that we meant.
Well, you have a very weird definition of alcoholic, then, because my drinking didn't fit any of the standard definitions of alcoholism. So, if I was an alcoholic, I was doing pretty good because I wasn't. There was no zero consequences from it. Oh, no filter and touchy feely. I have that sober, the no filter part. I guess it just gets. I don't know. I don't. I haven't drank in like at least 10 years. I can't remember the last time I was even buzzed.
Connie, then
Yeah, that sounds like alcoholism, not Laz, what you're describing.
what you need to do is you need to like get drunk and then put your hands on me, and then some other chick will be like, "Why is she putting her hands on him? Why can't I do it?" And then I'll be set.
I'm not. Well, I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank in forever. Ever since when weed became legal and I started smoking weed every day. Now I might have been a weedaholic, but even that I stopped. I just quit cold turkey. Um, but ever since when I started smoking weed, I lost the taste for alcohol. Like alcohol did. I had no desire for it whatsoever. I didn't enjoy the feeling of being buzzed or anything. I'm like, weed. Why would I do this if I could just smoke weed? And I really, really haven't looked back since to alcohol. But I'm either. It depends on. For me, it depends on the crowd I'm with, like the social atmosphere. If it's at a party and everybody's having fun, then I'm a happy, fun. I can laugh and cut up and fun. Or I'm really quiet and sleepy, and I'm notorious for falling asleep at parties. From like I'll drink and I'll fall asleep. I'll fall asleep on the couch, or I'll go in someone's bedroom and lay in their bedroom for a while and sleep. Sometimes I sleep under a table or on a recliner or something like that. So I'm either a sleepy drunk or I'm a lively drunk, just kind of bubbly, happy, lively. But if I drink Everclear or the wrong alcohol, I can be an angry, like disruptive drunk. And when I first started drinking, before I learned how to handle my alcohol, I was a very out of control drunk. So I started out of control, and then I learned to moderate it, and I became just I'd say friendly drunk. And but buzz because I hate the feeling of being drunk. So I almost never get drunk because I cut myself off before I get to the drunk point. I'm in tune with my body, like what my body's doing, and I can tell when the alcohol is going over the level that I want it at, and then I stop it at that point because I know if I keep drinking, it's gonna get to that drunk zone that I don't want to be in.
So Jeff, were
So
you
I'm
agreeing with Connie? Because she said she prefers weed.
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Guess which I prefer.
None, none of
That's
it.
correct. That's correct.
Have you drank before? Do you drink? Do you have experience with alcohol?
I've used neither. I've used, consumed, however you want to phrase it, neither. So none is the only answer I can give because I
Oh,
haven't.
so you never have? Okay, well, I don't want to corrupt you. Although sometimes I feel like it's my religious duty. But
Because you're a Satanist.
alcohol did. I started drinking in college, and it did loosen me up, and it kind of broke through that. I was kind of like you growing up. I was a nerd. I was a loner. I didn't have a lot of social skills. I didn't talk to people. I was an intellectual. I was above it all. And when I started drinking, that's what broke all of that. And people started to like. That's when you have Cool Joe. That's when Cool Jeff came out, and then people started to respond to me completely different. I could relate to ordinary people better. They could relate to me better. It loosened all of that uptightness up. And
Well,
so for me, it was a kind of a rite of passage into connecting with ordinary people, but it took about a year to learn how to do it properly without
Yeah,
the destructive side effects.
my response to the uptightness was to embrace Stoic philosophy,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
just
think that
makes you
worked.
more uptight. Stoic philosophy is designed to make you even more uptight than you already start out when you embrace it.
It only seems uptight.
Well, that's perception is reality in the social realm.
Yeah, but people were gonna see me as uptight either way, so it's nothing I can do about
No,
that.
there are times when you have not been uptight, and I have a feeling if you had a glass of wine or a beer now and then, we'd like that side of you would come out more.
So if it needs
But
alcohol,
I'm
that's
not
not me.
advising it, especially not at your age. If we were in college together, I would try to corrupt you into a few drinks here and there. But as an adult, it's at this point it's probably pointless because I don't want to. Because once you discover the benefits of it, then you risk overindulging.
Right, I mean, I would say that defeats the point. Like if it's something that needs like chemical alteration, then it's not me. Like that's kind of the point.
It facilitates. You don't need it all the time. Lou is wanting to know why you don't drink. You don't need it all the time. It loosens you up enough to where you're able to start being that way around people even when you're not drinking. It gets you started. It transitions you to that personality style. I'm drinking coffee right now, not less.
I mean,
It
Lou,
is
you just said it.
like everything we put into our body is chemical. We're
Lou,
chemical.
you just said it. Like people aren't born alcoholics. It's progressive, right? So I'm not an alcoholic. A great way not to do it is just don't drink. It's easy.
But not everybody that drinks becomes alcoholics.
No, but nobody who so anyone who doesn't drink doesn't become an alcoholic. Like there's no way you can become an
So
alcoholic if you don't
you
drink.
don't want to take the risk. You're not sure if you'd become an alcoholic or not.
I mean, that's one way of putting it, right? I mean, I would just say the act of being drunk does not seem like a pleasant thing in itself. I can't say I've ever seen a
It's
drunk
not.
person.
I don't enjoy being drunk either. But it's not drinking to get drunk. Like one or two glasses of wine is not drinking to get drunk. Or a glass of wine or a glass of beer with dinner is not
I mean,
drinking to get drunk.
what's the point then to hydrate? I mean, I just drink soda or even
No,
have water.
it's a social lubricant. It loosens you up. I don't know how to
Yeah,
explain it. It relaxes your inhibitions. It makes you more relaxed. Other people are more relaxed around you. It cuts through that stoic reserve that I think can distance and alienate people.
people alienate themselves. Stoicism doesn't alienate me from
It's
people. People,
intersubjective. It's intersubjective.
I'm a far simpler person than I used to be.
Because I've said this over and over and over that people have a completely different reaction to Cool Joe than they do to Stoic Joe. So it's not just in our head. It's not just subjective on our part. When things change on your end, our reactions also change.
people get Cool
It's
Joe in small
relational. It's
doses.
reciprocal.
People get Cool Joe in small doses. Okay. Whatever that even means, right? Like I don't even know how much Cool Joe is really a thing, but like if I were like
Well, now
that
you're
all the time,
gaslighting because we have him on stream at least 3 times that people could point to and say, "Look, that
I'm just
there
saying
he
like
is."
if
Don't
I'm like
pretend
this,
like he's not a thing.
if I'm this person who's like again, I don't really know completely what you mean, but like to me, like the filter is part of me, and like or if that's even what it is, that's the difference between me and Cool Joe. But like I mean, maybe you're talking a bit about like how I am. Like I showed you that video of me playing Mario Party with my friend,
That's part. Yeah, that's part of
right?
it. And you've been on
Um,
stream a few times, and you yourself have even pointed out times where you've deliberately let out Cool Joe. So to sit up here and pretend like you're not even sure what you're talking about anymore, when you yourself could identify it in the
I feel like
past, there
it's
seems to be some
something that
revision going
necessarily.
on.
It seems like a thing that is also sort of like I feel like it's kind of a moving target. Is just the word itself, but whatever the case.
To me, it's very
Um,
obvious. If you showed people videos of Cool Joe and you showed people videos of normal everyday Joe, they would very clearly be able to pick
okay,
which one was
let's
which.
just say that I would say that to the extent that Cool Joe's likable, it's because you don't see him often. It's because it's like, gee, I wish this
Well,
guy
but
would
you,
do this
how
more
do you
generously.
tell we? And there's no way to test that because you
I
you
tested it.
only let us
I'm
see him
33
often.
years.
You would
I'm
have to
33
let
years
us
old.
see him. You would have to do entire panels for several days with Cool Joe to know for sure if we get him in larger doses that we're gonna like him less.
Jeff, I'm 33 years old. I had a whole fucking life before I showed up in this panel. Like, I know when people have too much of me. I know how much of me people can take. I alienate people
No, you don't. You don't
way
know how
less.
you don't know how much of these particular people because these are not the people that life experience is built on. So you're carrying over an assumption from a totally other people to these people and to me.
So that's technically true, but it's trivially true, which is to say, like, the general
No,
lessons
you're
work.
still doing it. There's no, the only way to know for certain to have true knowledge epistemologically is to test it. And so without testing it, it's just an assumption.
I have tested. I'm not going to make the same mistakes over and over again and be like, maybe I should keep trying to be quote
Well, you
unquote
just
cool
first you
Joe.
have first of all you have a habit or tendency of hanging out with the wrong people anyway, and then basing your future experiences on that wrong crowd.
Jeff, I think you're missing the bigger point, which is that pretty much everybody's the wrong people. Like, there's no right people for me. So, like, that's just how it is.
The experiences that you have described yourself having with groups in the past, I don't see the same thing happening on here with this group. So if this group is just like all the other groups, it doesn't seem that way to me.
I think things go well in this panel because I don't overextend. I don't get complacent. I respect boundaries. I don't escalate things. And then Cool Joe comes out in small doses.
I don't think it's just you though, because I think I also created like a healthier, more functional environment than the ones you're used to where those things, even if they did happen, they would be handled a completely different way. Where you wouldn't walk away with a bad experience from it like you did with these other people.
I mean,
So
I feel like I know what the catalog of my past is, and I know what works and what doesn't. And
you know what works with those people, but based on that, at least you admit that you're holding back because that's what I've been saying forever. We're only
here's
getting
the
the
thing.
Joe
Here's
that
the
you want
thing.
us to
Here's
see,
the
but
thing you
you're
don't get,
holding
Jeff.
back based on the past experiences with different people. You're not giving us a chance to determine that for ourselves.
Here's the thing, Jeff. Like when I say like the act of putting a mask on changes you, right? Like I am a changed man, right? So to the extent it's like you can say I'm holding back, well, I also just had different habits. I have different responses. I judge things differently. So it's not like, oh, let me be fucking fake right now. It's um I'm like, no, this doesn't make sense to do. Right? I'm like, why would I do this now? I
I
know this
know, but
doesn't
you
work.
know when I discovered that was all bullshit when I saw Cool Joe. Like that told me that there is something more that you are not just the mask. There is all this other stuff
Yeah,
that could come out.
but also I was just like in a mood where I was just feeling like that. And I don't always feel that way. And that video, like I showed you with the Mario Party, I'm with my
Yeah.
best friend. I know what his boundaries are. I know what he's comfortable with. I know he's comfortable with a lot. I know what I can be funny with him on things and land. Um, and it's again, it's a game. So there's like material, right, for us to respond to. Like I know we're both looking at the same thing, so I can be funny about it. It's just there's so much to work with there. And
It's
I was just
go
gonna
ahead.
say, so with panels, they're just conversations, and so it's like it's not like there's a lot of doing involved, and
Is it
certainly,
the the public facingness of it? And if we were hanging out at a bar or at your house, the conversations would be different.
I mean, maybe I tried to be. I don't really try. I'm not trying to bullshit anything, right? Like I'm not trying to be fake. But I also know that um, like I'm not just gonna spill my guts all the time everywhere I go, like an emotional fire hose. And like that doesn't make sense. I don't even think that's appropriate. Um,
I
and
never
so,
suggested that you do that.
well, it kind of sounds like that's sort of the suggestion. Maybe that's an unfair interpretation of it, but it does feel like that. And um, um,
No, I'm
and so, like to me, it's sort of
all I've said, and I've been consistent in saying, is Cool Joe. That's if you think Cool Joe is spewing yourself like a fire hose, then I guess I am talking about that. But that's not what I see Cool Joe as,
yeah,
and I
and
don't
I
think that's
think
what you take him as either. So I don't think
and
that's an extreme standard to when I use Cool Joe as an example. I don't think I'm using anything extreme.
and I think that I one thing that is different is I approach things patiently. I let things go. I see how they are, and um, I don't like rush to be the cool guy. It's a mood thing. I'm not gonna just turn that on because it's like, oh, now it's time to be cool, Joe. But it's just sort of like I have a feeling about like just when it's appropriate to be maybe a little edgier. I'm not gonna do that all the time, and it really wouldn't have much value if I were like that all the time. It would probably be more
Well, but
annoying.
we like the people experiencing it get to determine the vote, not you.
Okay, and I would just say the people experiencing it determine the value. I know what the feedback of that is, and I've learned
Well, the
from it.
feedback you've gotten on here has been positive. Every time it's happened, it's been positive. You can go back and watch. In fact, the first time he showed up was on one of these fireside chats. I remember. You can
The
go back
the
and
feedback
watch
is
the
positive.
chat and watch what everybody was saying. So I'm not
The,
making
fe-
this up.
the feedback is positive is because I've got the right balance. I've got you wanting more. I've not got you sick of me. I've got you wanting more. That means it's working. So
So you're manipulative.
it's not manipulative. It's I don't overdo it, right?
You don't
Is
do
it
it at
manipulative?
all. Like
Is
we
it is it
hardly ever
is it
see it.
manipulative to
Like
just feed you strawberries all the time until you're like, oh geez, I fucking hate strawberries?
but one strawberry a year versus strawberries all the time. Like I think there's a balance. And I'm not even suggesting any particular amount. I am just pointing out the fact that you have other dimensions to you that make you more rounded as a person and
Yeah. Hmm.
less this like what is it, the pathos of distance that we get from Stoic Joe.
Yeah. So I mean, no, I would say even the cool Joe is nested within Stoic Joe. Okay, but because it's all coming from the same philosophy. But um I would just say this is like it works for me that um like clearly it's a good strategy if people want to see it more. That means I'm not doing it too much, and I don't think there's ever a perfect balance to hit. But if you have to make a mistake, the better mistake is um people wanting more
But your
rather than wanting
personality is
less.
contrived. It's calculated. You're not just naturally being yourself. You're calculating how much of this part to show people at any given moment versus other parts, and it comes across as artificial and contrived, and not your natural organic personality.
If I
So
didn't do
we
that,
don't know
then it
who
would
the
come
real
off.
Joe is, who Joe would be if he wasn't consciously, intentionally trying to be this one thing. We don't know who he would naturally be.
Okay, so I mean, old Joe is an angry, argumentative, yelling asshole, at least to some degree. Yeah, I do not like being that guy. So now I'm somebody who waits more, who listens, who considers, is it my place to do this? I guess that's calculating, but it's like,
Well, if that's truly who you are, then I guess keep calculating. Then keep the mask on. My ex was like that too, and I believe me, I much preferred him with the mask if that's
Well,
what
it's
really
like
was underneath it.
here's the thing. The temptation for that is gone now too. Like I've really killed off a lot of that. So I'm saying I'm a changed man, and again, the act of putting on the mask changes who you are, right? And it's that's
Well,
just
then
how it
how?
is.
Okay, if that's true, if you're a changed man and you're no longer Angry Joe, and then where did Cool Joe come from? Who is that?
Um, what the fact that I can be funny and uh um what I'm chummier and I'm engaged and
You you were humanized. You had emotion behind your in your voice. You had excitability. You had energy and life coursing through you.
that conversation was exciting. I mean, it's kind of weird to for people who want me to be more excitable than to like I don't know, not give me a reason to be excited.
Well, I don't. People don't have to give me a reason to be excited. I'm excited all the time about a whole bunch of things. So, but that's
Hold on,
part of that
hold
is
on,
you. If you're that like dead of a person inside, that's not our fault.
hold on. I'm gonna need some water.
All right. Sometimes the best view is in the darkest room. Isn't that the truth? I mean, it doesn't stop a lot of other people from coming over here and finding something to get excited about. So don't try to put that on me. I'm not.
I'm
I
back.
feel like I bend over backwards to help generate stimulus, and so if it's not your cup of tea, don't put that on me completely.
I'm not. I'm not putting. It's nobody's job to make me excited.
Well, that's kind of what you just said. Like if you're not acting excited, it's because we're not giving you something to be excited about.
True, but that doesn't mean it's your job. It just means that's a thing about being
Well,
excited.
it's kind of like if you want to see Cool Joe, then it's your job to do something exciting enough to make Cool Joe come out. And on the stream that day, I wasn't doing anything in particular at all. So even that day, it wasn't me doing something. It was something about you that was just bringing him out.
I think it just happened to be that my mood that day. So something else did it. Um um but yeah, I would just say uh like my best friend, I can I'm way more animated with him because I've known him since kindergarten.
So it's your
And
comfort. You're not completely comfortable with the panel people like YouTube or this medium. There's something you're still holding yourself in reserve
I mean, it's not
and
even so much a comfort
mindful of
thing,
your
but like
persona.
it's not even so much a comfort thing. Like there is shared knowledge between us. Like I know like I he knows things and I know things that he knows and he knows that I know that he knows things and it's just so there's a lot of stuff that we don't have to figure out already. It's just I can cut straight to some stuff and I don't have to there's a lot with your whole audience I would have to figure out first.
But
There's
it
a lot they'd
didn't
have to
like
figure out
what I'm
with you.
saying is the few times we've seen him, that didn't stop him then. So like he's perfectly capable of showing up.
No, not perfectly. A couple times, right? But it's like I mean, you really expect me to be like that all the time in every scenario, every conversation, every topic,
No,
every
when did I
person,
say
every
that?
episode?
When did I say be Cujo all the time, every single conversation?
I'm just saying. I'm saying like there's a few times where it can work, but it's like it's not going to be practical to do that. It's like
Okay,
to
fine.
more
Just
often.
leave him. Leave him. Just leave him. Forget it. I saw him get a better response than Stoic Joe normally gets. So if
Yeah,
I don't know what your goals are, but I'm just letting you know that if your goals were connecting with other people, I saw that happen much more with Cool Joe than with Stoic Joe.
and I would say a measure of success is that people wanted it more. That means I'm not overdoing anything. I'm not fucking anything up,
No, you're definitely not overdoing it.
right? And that's a to me that's a measure of success in life. It's very easy to fuck things up. Let's chat,
Welcome,
Simon.
Dino. Do you have any jokes today?
Dino has jokes.
I'm picking at him. How am I picking at him? We've had this conversation for a while now.
No,
This
Lou's
is
right. You're
just
picking
this
at
is
me.
more of the same. I'm picking. Wait, would you? I'm picking at you.
Yeah, I told you that I ain't about your Cajun
Well,
ethnicity.
then you can stop the conversation at any point. Like I didn't realize that you were experiencing this as picking at you. I thought we were just having a conversation.
I'm just messing.
Oh,
You're
okay.
not
So
picking at me.
you're picking at me then.
That's right.
I would bungee jump.
You would
I would
bungee
definitely.
jump?
Yeah, I would bungee jump.
That's pretty fun sounding.
I would bungee jump. I would skydive. I would. there's not much I wouldn't do. Like adrenaline wise.
Rappelling is fun.
Yeah, I have rappelled before.
Yeah,
Many
that's
several
fun.
times. I
And
used to
I've
be
done
in a part of a climbing gym.
what's it called again? The zip line. A zip line, that's fun.
Yeah, I've done it over water, but I want to do one through the jungle or over like through land. Some cities have them where it's like a mode of travel from one side of the city to the other. Oh, Dino, give us a joke. What's your joke?
And
What's the joke for today?
yeah, let's go with the joke. And Kane, do you think Jeff was picking at me? Do you agree with Lou?
Well, we've already determined, and it's on stream. Anybody can see it that you're the one picking at me. So why would you want to resurrect that losing argument?
I just want to hear Kane's perspective. I just want to know
Oh,
how she
okay.
perceived events.
Kane, am I picking at Joe? Whatever that means. Because usually when I'm picking, like I pick on not laws all the time, and it's intentional, and I know I'm doing it every time. I was not doing that with you.
Who knows? Maybe she's not even there. Maybe she's high right now and not even focused. Who knows?
Oh, good. Wait, hang on. We're gonna get our joke. Hey, Dino.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? I'm so excited.
I got a joke and I got kind of a update on what's going on with me.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you the joke first. What's the difference between red and purple?
Red and purple. The difference between them. And it's a joke. So let me think. I don't know.
The grip.
Oh my god, I got that one. that was kind of cute. Hey, Puffy.
I'll give you one more. What's the difference between a lentil and a chickpea? You know what a lentil is, right?
Yeah. I know what a chickpea is too. They make hummus out of it.
Yeah. You know what the difference in them is?
Is it a racist joke? What is it?
No, it's not racist. I'm not a racist.
Oh.
I never had a chickpea on my face.
A lentil.
I told you wrong. I fucked it up. God damn it.
A chickpea. You never had a chickpea on your face.
I was supposed to say I never had a lentil on my face.
That made it even funnier. I never had a lentil on my face.
That's how you're supposed to do it. I fucked it up.
That made it better. I would tell it that way in the future. That made it better.
That's the right way to tell it. Yeah, I told it wrong.
It's accidentally funny, but we'll take it.
Oh, shit. Oh, well, the update on me is that I finally got certified as a gynecologist today. So,
is that
really?
Another joke?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm still looking for a place to work. So if anybody knows any openings I can look into, give me a holler.
Yeah, Dino, I had a question. I heard that to get certified as a gynecologist, you have to be willing to study abroad.
That's right.
Okay.
I've also got a spelunking certificate, so I'm covering both sides. In case you don't know what spelunking is, it's a cave. When you go
I know. I used to spelunk. not the Yeah, not that kind. But I used to. I love caves.
Oh, I thought Jeff was telling us he's a top. Okay. I thought you were looking for a daddy. I totally misunderstood you.
All right.
I was
I'm
talking
sorry,
about
little buddy.
caves.
I'm gonna,
Is
I'm
that
gonna
is that
jump
is
back
that a
down.
cool enough show for you, Jeff?
Oh, that's all we get, Dino? Well,
Shit, I gotta reload.
all right. Well, good luck on your gynecological endeavors.
Exploration.
Yeah, good luck on your explorations.
All right. Peace out.
Peace in and out. Take care. Peace. Cave diving where they fit in cracks. um, well, I actually when I used to. Vegas has caves, and we used to go as far back in the cave as we could till it gets very, very narrow. And that's the part of the cave we used to hang out. We used to go in there with our alcohol and our weed and all kind of stuff. And so I like going. I like going as far into the cave as I can. And on Planet Earth, the cave episode, they have like these very narrow caves that they show the people go in, and they have some where you have to go underwater in these narrow cracks that it's filled with water, and they have diving suits, and that looks fun to me. But it's very suspenseful. So I would try all of that stuff with a
Connie,
head
I think you
camp.
misheard.
Joe has a daddy kink. No, that's me.
Yeah, Connie, you misheard.
That's I'm the one with the daddy kink.
Get the weed out of your ears. You got too much.
Joe is not. Joe's just he's like on Ordinary Girlfriend. Like that's all he's trying for right now.
As much
The
as I
kinks
flirt with
might
you,
the kinks might come later, but if we could just help him with the girlfriend thing.
yeah, as much as I flirt with you too, Connie, you think it's the daddy kink that I have. Examine the situation a bit, you know.
Is she flirting right now? Is that part of her part of a flirt?
No, I think that's her, as she would put it, being a stoner
Oh.
with ADHD and maybe
Oh.
missing a detail or two.
Jack is cracking me up right now.
What's he saying? He's saying, "Oh yeah, weren't there like 6 or 7 years ago a bunch of kids who got trapped in caves in like Indonesia or something, and then Elon Musk caused a lot of controversy talking about it."
Oh, I don't know. I thought that was always happening. Kids getting trapped in
Yeah,
caves. Let's see.
that
Elon.
was before he was political. That was when like he was just
The
saying his
Thai
opinions
Cave
around.
Rescue, a tale of good intentions and bad tweets. Oh,
Uh-huh.
he called one of the rescuers a pedo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I like pedos could still rescue people from caves. Like they both could
They
be
can.
true.
It's true.
He sent engineers. He sent some of his engineers to Thailand to help try to free them.
Yeah, pedos can rescue people from caves. One time a cannibal rescued me from a well, but he didn't try to eat me.
What were you doing in a well?
Oh, well, I heard that the ring girl was single, and I was at a low point.
I never
And
saw the movie, but I kind of get the reference anyway.
and she wasn't taken, but I just wasn't her type. So she stayed down there.
Silence of the Lambs. I've never been in a well. Like of all the crazy things I did in childhood, ending up in a well was somehow not one of them. I don't even think we had wells. We had people. We had friends. There were like families around that had well, like their water came from a well, but we never actually saw the well or anything. We just it was in their yard somewhere.
Well, my house, we had a well, but it was like one of those like ones with like a motor that would like pump it up from the ground and then just it would be connected to the plumbing in your house, so you would not actually go and like get a pail or anything.
Yeah, that's how this was. It came out, except it wasn't like part of the public water system. It came out of their yard, like the
Kane said, I can play
water
during the
table
day
in their
on
yard.
panel, just not at night. What the fuck is she talking about?
I don't know. What does that mean?
Kane, at night is when I want to play. You can't do this to me.
Everyone's doing something to you tonight. I noticed.
Things are being done to me all the time, everywhere. The world's out to get me.
Such the victim.
That's how I stopped being an atheist. One day I realized somebody has to be out to get me.
Jax, are you still talking about caves?
He is talking about caves.
Caves.
Although he might be talking about wells, because what he said could be true of wells, depending on which one.
Yeah, we grew up poor, but we still had plumbing. What do you call normal water, like pub water that comes through pipes from the city? That water? We had a water bill. We paid
city water
bills.
Yeah.
Town village water. But
Lead
some
pipe.
people that came, we had relatives that some of our relatives, they had an outhouse and they had one of those pumps with the handles on them that you would pump the water from the ground. And their dishes, they didn't have running water in their house. They had a pan and they would pump the water in the pan and bring the pan to the sink and do the dishes in it.
Oh, wow.
They were old Cajun people. They were very, very rustic and happy. Some of the happiest people I know.
Well, you know why they were happy? It's because they were racist.
They didn't have a care in the world. No, Cajuns are not known to be racist. We're not really that racist. We're not racist like the white people are racist.
So Cajuns are a different type of white people.
Yeah, because we've been on the receiving side of it too. Plus, we got along with all the black people. We were all poor. We were like all of the same class, so we all had more in common than separated us. Like they're what? What is he? They will drop down to nothing, like they're dying, and still climb it.
He really knows a lot about these cave diving people. He seems to be fascinated by what they do.
I know I'm probably going to end up going back and watching the Planet Earth episode. That was the first Planet Earth that I saw, and I was stoned. And my friend, I went to her house to smoke weed, and while I was there, she said, "Have you ever watched Planet Earth? It's this nature documentary. It's fascinating." I'm like, "No, but I've seen plenty of nature documentaries." And she put it on, and oh my God, it blew my mind. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I love caves. In fact, they have caves around here. If I could find some people to go with, we could go caving. Anybody want to go caving? Hit me up.
Even though you're a swamp child, you like caves.
Yeah, they have ice caves here somewhere too. I've never been. I want to go see them. Yeah, we didn't have caves growing up anywhere.
So when Trump says drain the swamp, do you find that offensive as a Cajun?
No, because we didn't even grow up in the swamps. We were prairie Cajuns. Oh. We had bayous around. You had to drive to them. They were like in your backyard, but we didn't grow up in the swamps. And we had a pirogue. We had a lake with the pirogue that we would take out, and you could paddle it through the cypress trees. But even at that, I wouldn't call a swamp. Just found this spot. Let's see. That sounds like something out of Stranger Things or Stand by Me.
That
Those
sounds
kids
like
movies.
sounds like some Gen X thing. Kids go out and do a
Yeah,
thing. There are no parents. They're like, "Whoa, get
yeah,
in here!"
yeah. That's I can't believe that kids are not doing that now.
Yeah, because kids, are told by the parents, "No, you'll get abducted, and then I'll go to prison."
Everything's structured. They can't just go off by themselves. They can't just randomly like, "Mom, we're going outside to play."
Yeah, even though the odds of getting abducted are actually really, really low, um, like they're way lower than you think. But like when um, you just find the one kid that gets abducted and you put their face everywhere, people are like, "Oh no!" And usually the most kids are kidnapped by people that know them. Like it'll be like a thing where the parents are divorced and one of the parents takes the kid without permission, kind of thing, or something like that.
That's not something we ever worried about growing up. Like the whole time we were playing around the neighborhood, we
I
never
would when I was
had
like
this
little.
fear that somebody might drive by and snatch us.
When I was little, like that's what my parents would tell me. They're like, "You can't go out by yourself. Someone could steal you or whatever." And then I was terrified as
No,
a
we
child of being stolen.
we were probably more worried for them than us. If for anybody that tried to steal us was taking on a handful, it would not have been easy for them.
So, yeah, it's just interesting how and Jonathan Haidt talked about that in his book, The Coddling of the American Mind, and how the 1980s was around the time that you started like having the missing kids on milk cartons phenomenon, and and news reports of missing kids and stuff, and it created this paradigm shift in the perception of parents. So baby boomers, as they were becoming parents in that time, um, really started to fear for their children being abducted, and so millennials were raised with this whole like helicopter parenting, like oh, the world is dangerous kind of mindset, and then it got even more extreme with Gen Z because it was
Yeah.
that plus all the political correctness and shit. Um, Whereas at least millennials got to see what like diversity was like before people started bragging about it.
You mean like from
Oh.
the Gen X? They got to see the Gen X diversity.
I mean, I guess sort of like stuff we were watching in the '90s, which I guess would have been the cultural content of Gen X, right? Um,
Yeah, I get like 80s, 90s, even
well, but
70s. I would
like
include.
who would have been like the musicians and TV stars and actors that millennials watched? They would have been Gen X, right? People who were like 10 to 15 years older, and so yeah, it's basically like we saw like a pretty like wide group of people um in things, and we had it wasn't like it's not like we were uh like we weren't really nailed to like our local culture, right? We had like this media culture, and
Yeah. Yeah, same
um
thing. Yeah, same thing. We had the same thing. That's where we got ours. We had TV shows that were very diverse. Music. The music in the 80s was, you had every kind of person you could imagine doing music.
yeah,
Michael Jackson, Boy George, Cyndi
yeah,
Lauper. You had
so
all kind of weird people, like normal,
so
weird people being normal, normal people being weird.
yeah, so we had a lot of that, and yeah, and then B is just like they're just way more nervous about stuff like that. There was obviously, it was noted that millennials suddenly like needed to go to therapy a lot more, even though less bad shit had happened to them. But the Gen Z like took that to the power of 10, and
Right. And none of these people leave their house. They have more trauma and adversity, and they're the generation that are most not even leaving their bedrooms. Like, where is
and
it?
like
Where it's all coming from their imagination through social
yeah,
media.
and millennials still like in their adulthood, like they kind of basically had some coming of age moments just later in adulthood. Like they toughed through it by the time they got to their 30s. They've had some work experience. They're like, okay, I can be an adult now. I'm not so anxious anymore. Like that seems to be like as I look around and talk to the other millennials where they've gotten. is they made it through things. I even had to do a bit of that myself.
What's a good millennial TV show that like y'all grew up with or that captured the essence of being a millennial?
Well, this is kind of the younger side, but so it's not like teen millennial, but I would say the Pokemon show. Like that shit was hot.
Oh, I
Like
thought
there's a
it was going to
reason.
be like a show with people in it, humans.
I mean, some of the characters are human,
Jackass.
right?
Oh, like not Saved by the Bell?
Saved by the Bell more for the like early half of millennials.
My
But yeah, like,
So-Called Life, or was that
but
Gen
there,
X?
I don't know. But like, there's a reason like the Pokemon theme song is like a millennial anthem. Like it's like
I didn't even know. I didn't even know there was a TV. I mean, I'm sure there was. It doesn't surprise me. There's a Pokemon TV show.
yeah,
I just didn't really know
and
it
especially
was a
like
big thing.
the first two seasons. Oh yeah, it's still cool.
So cartoons, there was no like coming like we had stuff like the Breakfast Club and Molly Ringwald movies and Cosby shows, Saved by the Bell, those kind of shows where you
Well,
see your culture, you see like what looks like your age group's culture.
Cosby
Y'all's
Show
was cartoons.
kind of was. Also, I mean, you got to remember, the '90s is when Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network were created. So like we had
Oh my
TV
god, it's
channels
worse than I thought. Y'all didn't even
like
have adult TV shows.
but like there were two major channels devoted entirely to cartoons for the first time when we were like born and growing up. So yeah, cartoons were a bigger part of our cultural consumption, and so SpongeBob is probably like of all the Nickelodeon shows, that one, especially the first three
But y'all
seasons of
didn't have
SpongeBob.
like a Friends or a Seinfeld or like
Oh,
an adult
so
sitcom.
a lot of us did watch Friends. I was watching Friends even when I was a little kid. I thought Friends was funny. So Friends, Everybody Loves Raymond, um, and Frasier, and those are like the adult sitcoms that were on that a lot of us still watch as kids because we probably watched it with our
Frasier, no
parents.
wonder that explains.
Yeah, Frasier. It's I think that's what Seattle was like just before you got there, and then
Yeah, it's definitely the Seattle personality.
um, although I will say like the characters on Frasier would probably get run out of town these days, but um, let's see. I'm trying to think of what all was on right now at the time and like when it was on. Um, yeah, because I mean a lot. Yeah, man, it's just oh, dude. Okay, if you want a good millennial show, it's mostly for the guys, but Dragon Ball Z, that shit
Say
was hot.
cartoon. They're not. I want like
That
adult contemporary drama.
that
Like
was drama for us. Those characters had really like personal journeys they went.
no, I'm talking about like 30 something, Wonder Years, that those kind of shows that show contemporary adult life. That is maybe that's part of the problem. Y'all did not have anything that showed you that. Where you could look and get an idea of what life was like for your age group, what the workplace looked like, what dating looked like, what family life looked like. We had
Yeah, so
Roseanne. We had
like
Married with Children. We had Tool Time, Tim, Seinfeld, Friends.
oh, I liked Home Improvement. I think that's what you mean by Tool Time because I called it Tool Time as a kid as well.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, so like a
So
lot of
every
that stuff
like
was like the earlier
y'all
part.
had Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon. That was your version of adult contemporary life. No
Yeah,
wonder. The problem is way worse than I realized. Power Rangers.
Power Rangers when I was like 4, but
Oh, I actually like the Power Rangers because it reminds me of the stuff we used to do when we played outside.
I was the Blue Ranger for Halloween when I was 3.
Well, you know what? I can Google it. What would I call them? Is it Gen Z or millennial? Which that I'm looking for? Could tip millennial.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like whenever I talked with like other um like classmates and stuff, like, oh, did you see this episode of this or whatever? It was usually something on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. And if not one of those, it was Kids WB, which was a cartoon
Dawson's
program.
Creek, Buff. Here, 10 shows that perfectly capture the millennial experience. Broad City, Gossip Girl. These are How I Met Your Mother, Gilmore Girls. I used to watch that.
How I Met
I
Your
haven't
Mother
heard it. My
was
So-Called Life was one of them.
How I Met Your Mother's was more like like as after millennials grew up or we're almost grown up kind of thing. It was more like a young adult thing.
Oh,
That
Clarissa Explains It All.
Well, Clarissa Explains It All was a segment on All That, I think.
South
That
Park.
and All That was on Nickelodeon. All That was All That was like the Saturday Night Live of Nickelodeon.
Degrassi, The Next Generation. Those are the Canadians. None of these are what I'm looking for. These are just random TV shows. 11 shows and movies for and about millennials and Gen Z. Oh, this one includes Gen Z. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Boy Meets World, Friends, Mean Girls. That makes sense.
Yeah, Mean Girls was
I haven't heard of most of these. Heartbreak High. Some of these are modern, like
a
recent.
lot. A lot of the '80s sitcoms, so they're not really contemporary because they're like 10 or 15 years back. But a lot of the '80s sitcoms were big for millennials because we watched them on Nick at Night. Oh, here's an interesting show that I know millennials loved. Whose Line Is It Anyway? We love that shit.
Maybe that genre, like that kind of scripted drama,
Oh, here's one. South
was
Park.
just that was on the list. Maybe that genre just fell out of style by the time y'all were coming of
Simpsons is a big
age.
one. Simpsons is big. I mean, I don't know how I forgot that.
What's it called?
Simpsons. The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, that's the. I remember when it started. That's a Gen X. I think it started in '87.
Yeah, so like a lot of our things were what animated or fantasy shows, and so it was just a different type of like that sort of what the culture of the time was. Like that's what people were trying out. That's what creators were making. They were doing animation, they were doing fantasy
Not
things. So
not
things like
really
Harry Potter.
people shows.
Right. It's not like Gen X stuff like, walking around and like, adults are
Like
smoking and blowing smoke in your face kind of shit, you know. Does that sound Gen X to you?
I don't know. Our shows had humans in them. They had people. like, but talking about needing to see people that look like us, just other humans at least. Not. I mean, we had The Simpsons. We had Beavis and Butthead.
That's
South
interesting.
Park.
That's like one thing that makes it interesting to me that like people say, "Oh, we need people that look like us or whatever." It's like so much of what millennials watch was either animated or fantasy that you didn't even need to think about that. Like we're watching SpongeBob. It's we need more black people in SpongeBob. They're not even humans. No one's saying shit like that. But now I don't know. I guess they'd be interpreting characters as black anyway nowadays.
Yeah, I think they do. They might. They see race and gender and everything. That's the paradigm they're looking through, whether it
According to
applies to
there's on
that
Reddit, the
context or
subreddit
not.
millennials, they ask, what do you think is the most millennial show? The top comment says The Simpsons. It's been there our whole lives. Debuted December 17th, 1989.
89.
Um,
I'm almost. Let me see.
yeah, Simpsons
Simpsons.
was basically our introduction to adult comedy. My best friend and I, so much of our humor is derived from The Simpsons. whether it's referencing jokes like specific punchlines in that, or the way we frame a joke, the way we build up our jokes for each other. It's like the subversiveness of it. That's a big part of like how my best friend and I communicate.
Oh, it started in the Tracy Ullman show in '87. That's what I'm remembering because I used to watch Tracy Ullman too, and then it became its own series starting in '89. But I remembered it much earlier than '89. But it was from the Tracy Ullman show, and I think they had Butterfinger commercials too with The Simpsons in it. And I just assumed the sitcom was out by then.
Oh, if you want to, okay, I did find an example that's kind of good. If you want something that was like a contemporary thing with live action people, I think Malcolm in the Middle is probably one of the best ones.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of familiar with that. That I watched this. They have a new season of The Surreal Life, and that Frankie Muniz kid was one of the one of the people. Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, like I'm looking through this post though, and so much of the stuff, like the stuff from when we were kids, is almost all animation or some kind of fantasy. It's not like this contemporary real life stuff. The contemporary real life stuff is like when we're adults. So it's like people are saying The Office. Most millennials watch The Office on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that would be a good example. You think The Office captures the millennial sensibility?
Yeah, it does. But millennials, by and large, really got into The Office when it started being available on Netflix, like starting in 2009, 2010, and watching it streaming services. And so,
oh my God, it's about gifted kids. This Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah,
he's a little gifted kid.
Mm-hmm. It's a great show.
I might check it out.
So,
and they have a delinquent older child, which is the Gen Xer, I guess.
Yeah, the stuff they were making at the time, though, it was just not the same typical like live action contemporary stuff. It was maybe that's one of the differences between Gen X and millennials is that you guys had more of that stuff. That grit you guys had some gritty shit.
Yeah, the grit.
And ours was more like.
But your cartoons were gritty. I think the grit moved. You're right. The grit moved over to animation.
Oh yeah, so we did have some pretty gritty cartoons. Like sometimes
and our cartoons were wholesome.
Yeah,
but our like, movies and TV shows were gritty.
Stuff like the Smurfs. Like I go back and I watch things like, especially if we watch some of the early seasons of SpongeBob. I'm actually surprised what they got in there sometimes. Like shit. But yeah. No, they definitely took cartoons in a different direction. It wasn't like Looney Tunes stuff or whatever, it was.
Yeah. To me, that started with The Simpsons. You're right.
Yeah. The Simpsons basically is it dared to be a fully fleshed show as an animation. And maybe the Flintstones kind of did that before, but even the Flintstones is like kind of safe,
Man, I might check out this Malcolm in the Middle show.
It's good. A lot of really fucked up stuff happens in it too.
So you think it'll help me like tap into the millennial Gen Z psychology?
Yeah, because Malcolm, the main character, he's like totally like super millennial.
I'm interested in. I didn't know it was a gifted kid. I don't know how I missed this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. I think that's the next thing on my list.
But like, you'll see it like, but it's like it's Malcolm in the Middle, and it's like he's like very in his own head a lot, and it's just there's a lot of anxiety and stuff in his characterization.
I want to compare a gifted kid from his generation to mine. All right, I think I found the pilot. Yeah, I think I'm going to watch it tonight, in fact. Oh, okay. Wow, I'm excited. It's a sitcom?
Yeah, it's really funny.
Okay.
Yeah, my family watched it a lot. It was like torturously funny. Like a lot of really like cringe, like this is so wrong. Why is this happening? But you just can't look away kind of stuff. It was great.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it was disappointing when the show ended. It's too good.
How many seasons did it run?
I think it had 6.
Oh, okay, that's a pretty good run.
Yep. As many as Community got. Although I'd say if you want a sitcom that came out like as millennials became adults, that really is millennial, Community is one.
I've
Like I know
tried. Is
that,
that the one with Chevy Chase?
yeah.
I tried to watch a few episodes. It was okay. Dank DeMoss, who is Kodak Black? I don't even know Kodak Black, but welcome, I guess. Oh, maybe not. Are you a troll? I assure you, he's not a Nigerian. He's
Like I think The
about as
Office is
far
more.
as you can get from one.
I think The Office is more generally popular, and The Office is near and dear to millennials. But the way Community is constructed, it is more purely millennial in just the way it thinks and breathes.
The offices.
No, Community is.
Oh,
The Office has a touch more of. I'd say it has a touch more of Gen X in it.
what's the premise of Community?
It's a bunch of people at a community college together from they're like from a bunch of different backgrounds, like different crooked paths in life brought them all to the community college where they're trying to get a degree so they could make something of themselves. And because they are all different, they have these kooky interactions that make for the comedy, basically. So the main character is Joel McHale's character.
Oh, I
His
love
name is
Joe McHale.
Yeah. So Joel McHale plays the main character, and he is a disbarred lawyer. And I mean, the premise is he shows up at the community college because it got found out that he faked his degree, so he can't be a lawyer. So to get his degree back, he has to go to community college and get a bachelor's degree, and then he can have a shot at practicing law again. And basically, the other characters are the classmates he meets. Um, really good show. Loved it. Loved the character Jeff Winger, a brilliantly written character.
Okay, I
And
might put this on my list too.
to think it ended in 2015. We're never getting that movie now.
It started in '09.
Yep. Yeah, basically it ran while I was in college. So like while I was going through college, the show was going on.
It's the number one show in Nigeria.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was a great show.
No, I've never been to Nigeria. Let's see. It did not. Okay, hang on. One day it's the people who had me did not want to join.
Oh, I just looked up in the chat and Mr. Record is Nigerian. What the hell?
I think we have a little troll here. Hey, Moose. What's up? What's going on? I was about to say you're up late. Are you? Are you? Have you gone to sleep yet, or are you up for your shift tomorrow? What time? It's like midnight over there, huh? You did them. Oh my God, 7, 8. So you're just getting off? Wow, dude. Is that just a temporary thing? How's it going? I start mine on Friday. Tomorrow's my last day as a free man. Oh, wow. Well, You're I know I was about to say you're an inspiration to us all. You're out there doing the thing. And we're still all hanging out on YouTube. Yes, yes. I told you. I've been saying what a good leader you were. I'm glad that there's people out there like you doing what you're doing. I really am. It gives me hope. Dank, surely you can get a better bit than Nigeria. It's been like less than 2 minutes that it's already played out.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be making jokes about um, countries from that continent, go with South Africa, right? That's topical.
Right, you're right. South Africa is where the real oppression is.
Yeah, you don't want to be talking about it.
No, I did not say where I was working because I'm not that.
He's not a stupid, okay?
Yeah. And it's just part time, but I told them to use me as many hours as they possibly can, and they said they can use me up to 39 because if they go 40, then that makes it full time. So I'll probably be working full time hours and getting treated like a part time employee.
It's funny. 39 and 40.
Is that
That's
the
an important barrier.
Boers? The Boers?
It would be the Boers and the English, but yeah.
They're I know Trump is saying that he wants to take them in as refugees, the white people in South Africa.
I'll give a hot take. I really don't care about the white people in South Africa. Like I honestly I know I said earlier today I'm okay with bad things happening, but in this case, like even if I
You
had a
actually
say,
have a political stance.
I would say like if I could pull levers, I would not reach for the save the white South Africans one very quickly.
Are you motivated to actively oppose it?
No, but it's just sort of like
And if they show up, you're okay with it. Like if they start moving into your neighborhood and
well, I bet it's
taking your
I know I'm not.
jobs, eating your cats.
I mean, I don't know how they could take my job, but I have a job that's kind of difficult to take by its nature.
You
But
don't think they can write articles for was it Seeking Alpha? That
they
still
might be able
sounds
to.
like a sex site.
That
Like
they
that,
might be
like
able to
if
write.
like maybe they do. They have daddies there. I'm Seeking Alpha. Maybe I could go find me a daddy.
Maybe they might be able to write about the South African gold mining companies better than me. But I would just write about different companies. Yeah, but basically, I'm not worried about the white South Africans.
Well, if they're being murdered, that sounds dire. That sounds like a true humanitarian crisis.
Well, I don't know to what extent that's really happening, but
Oh, Jax, who are you talking about? That's a horrible story. Oh, not laws 30 years ago. You're saying even white people might have been oppressed. That is serious. Then if not laws is even validating it.
but yeah. Anyway, I was just saying South Africa would be more topical than Nigeria.
Well, it apparently is because he's typing more than 4 words now.
There we go. I nailed it.
What's the difference between a black and a colored?
Uh, uh, I don't know. Let me get my racist dictionary,
And
and I'll
what
find out.
what rate are black people? I thought they were dying at the hands of other black people the most. Oh, okay, Jax. Generations of mixed race people sleeping with each other. Like, okay, well, that's. I just know them as black. Like, like people that called black people growing up colored people, and the black people would correct them and say, "No, we're not colored. We're black."
Well, nowadays, if you look at the way girls do their hair, they're trying to be colored people.
Right. That's the true colored people. Now is the rainbow
Huh.
brigade.
I remember I was talking to my buddy Marcus about that furry stuff. I think is cute, and he's like, I was like, I don't know, dude. You need to be careful with flower girls like that. That's how he described her, as a flower girl.
Wait, I don't know about this barista. Is this a new one?
I think I mentioned her. Although I probably made reference to her before, but she's basically has that look, like dyes her hair different colors, puts on like a lot of the eye makeup and stuff, like that typical like look that girls have today.
And you're still attracted to her?
Still attracted to her. But why still? Like, there's
Well, I
no.
just didn't think that that would be your type. The Kool-Aid kid, the Kool-Aid look.
I'm sometimes disappointed at what hacks my brain, but here we are.
Are there any hair colors that you wouldn't date that like would
I mean,
turn you off?
I think it really depends on like really the whole hairdo itself. It's just like, do I think your hair is badly done overall or not? Is it ugly, cut in an ugly way? And then like some people, like even the colors, it's like how they do it.
But it could be electric blue or cotton candy purple or whatever, and it wouldn't bother you as long as it was coiffed in a
Yeah,
certain way.
yeah. If that color's there,
That's progressive. You sound very progressive.
it's not gonna. I will say this. I will say this was surprising, but my ex-girlfriend, for like the first month that I knew her, natural hair color. The first time we went out to go do something, not we weren't explicitly on a date because I wasn't trying to date her. She was trying to sneak into dating me though. She already had her mind made up. Okay, when we met
What's
for that,
what does that mean?
it means she wanted to date me, but she wasn't going to make the first move. So she was like arranging pieces on the board
Oh,
so
but
that
in
we
her
could end up.
mind, she already had the two of you dating.
Yeah, like how women won't come out and actually say, "I want to date you," generally to men. I mean, I know you haven't really experienced this because that's not your romantic
No, I
preference,
did.
but
I used to write guys I had a crush on. I used to write their names on my notebook like we were together without even having a single conversation with them. I
yeah,
had
but
already
and so
put me with them in my head.
what women will do is try to nudge and influence and manipulate things to kind of get it in that direction without being direct because they want the guy to be the one to be direct. And so we were hanging out because I was asking my coworkers to hang out. I eventually asked her, and she said yes. And so, like up to that point, she had natural hair. She dyed her bangs blue, um, which I thought was an interesting choice. Um, and that's how her hair was at the time that we dated. I know. So I technically, even though most of her hair was still her natural brunette, I technically dated a blue-haired girl.
What,
And the
you
guy,
did
guy
end up dating her?
yeah, and she's my ex-girlfriend, so we ended up
Oh,
dating. It was kind
how did she get that to happen?
of, we went out and
Like
did
her plan
stuff.
worked, her plot worked.
We went out and did stuff a second time, and then I guess I was not. moving fast enough. So I got a text one morning at like 6 a.m. from her, and she said, "I want to see you again." And when I got that, I said, girls don't just text that. I said, "Okay, well, just come over when you can." And then when she came over, we talked about it, and then we agreed to be a couple.
So she came over to you. It wasn't even a date, like a third date. She just went to your house and y'all talked.
Yeah, I just asked her, I was like, tell me what you're feeling." And so she told me. I'm like, "Okay, well," and we basically said, "Okay, well, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. Let's try it out." And that's what
What
we
did
did.
she say? Like, I really want to date you.
Well, when I asked her, she was like, she got all shy. She's like, "I like you," and she was all timid,
Oh,
you know. But once she like got that out, it went better. Um, so yeah, then we did that for a couple months. So like, technically our first date was when the time we went out and did stuff like after that, I guess. But we went to like I think we played tennis and then we got dinner at like this Mexican place in Carborough. Um, so yeah, um, and that was cool.
and then remind me again how it ended or why it ended.
She thought I was too robotic, and
Her too.
it, it made her, yeah, but like in a different way, because like I was
Oh,
like not, I was clueless. Like I just was. This is all a novel situation for me, right? So like I'm just like, it's like for example, right? Um, she texted me, "I want to see you again," right? Because I was not moving quickly enough, and so it's like I'm not picking up, I'm not connecting some dots, or it's just sort of like I'm not recognizing this is the time. She's expecting me to have this shit figured out already, so I'm like taking my time. I'm not rushing. I'm not worried about stuff and stuff. But she like wants me to just sort of like, be like a passionate man and have that figured out already. Um, so and of course, this is at the point where I'm okay with taking things slowly, doing things patiently, and you know um seeing things from the long view rather than the short view, and that sort of being a way that my emotions work. But she didn't like that. She thought I was too robotic, and but she also, it was not just that, but I could also see that her feeling that way just had it was from a tendency to not chill out and to just she was rigid, and I don't know, had trust issues, and there's I never learned her full backstory, but um there was a wall she was putting up, and that her saying that was her wall, and that was fundamentally what needed to be fixed. So
well, but
um
she didn't get to meet Cool Joe. I wonder if that would have made a difference.
oh, she did, but
Oh, it,
she was just mad that he wasn't like on all the time, because again, kind of
well,
depends on my
so
mood. And
she's saying the same thing I've been saying to you that
no, no,
you've
no,
been
no, no, no,
all perplexed,
no.
acting like you all perplexed
No,
over.
no, it's Jeff. She would like do this thing where like if I'm not excited all the time, it's like I'm mad at her or I hate
But
her or
do you
something.
understand that 0.0001% of it is not all, like nobody's asking for all the time, but they're asking for more than
But here's the thing, that's just how
0.0001%.
I am, Jeff. That's just how I am.
Because when they see it, then they wonder why it 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 re-perspectivizes or recontextualizes Robot Joe from that point forward. Like if they don't know it's there, they just take you as Joe. But the minute they see it, they're like, okay, he's more than just this robot guy. Now he's shown me that he's more than that. So now robot guy is no longer. It like sets a new standard.
Yeah, I
So
get
it's
that.
not
I get
all the
that.
time, but it's hard to go back to robot guy after that.
Yeah, but then people act like robot guy isn't also still me, and that's the thing. It's like you said earlier. It's like, um, but I'm a nuanced person or whatever, and um, I have different attributes, and they show themselves in different moments, and none of them are fake. It's not like, how do I deceive this person? It's, you know, what seems
Well,
like the me to me.
robot guy seems to be the default and the most dominant of the
Yeah, it's
aspects.
a good starting point, right?
That's the most consistent starting point. It's like 99% of every interaction I've ever had with you.
Yeah.
And so if that's the default and you're saying that's what caused the relationship to not progress, that's not that different than what I've been saying.
But here's the thing too, right? Part of why I also would maybe, I don't know, take my time is because I could see that she had a wall. So sometimes I would like attempt a risky joke, right? And she would get mad and like fume at it. And it's just a little joke. So
So
I didn't,
she contributed to the robot
yeah,
persona being the default.
yeah. So me, like, I realized I had to. So like sometimes she wanted to start fights, and I didn't escalate the fight, right? I would patiently sit and let her talk and say what she needed to say. Then I would respond, and then I would patiently wait for her to respond. And I didn't fucking fight her, all right? And I could see the confusion in her eyes when I approached it that way. She's expecting a fucking fight, and I'm not doing that. And like I can remember how bewildered she looked when it was happening. I almost thought she was mad that I wasn't yelling at her.
Uh, yeah, well, maybe it's just she wanted that emotion. Like she wanted something
Yeah,
other than
it's
cold
just like,
circuitry and wires.
why didn't he feel anything? I can't be mean. At least he'd be feeling something. Just and it's like I'm not gonna fake being
It makes
angry.
you more relatable as a person when you emote
Yeah, but I
because
also can't
it
emote
rounds
things.
you out as a human.
I also can't emote things that I don't feel, right? So
Yeah,
part of why I'm not an angry, mean asshole anymore is 'cause I look back and I said that doesn't make any sense. Things aren't that bad. Quit being angry all the time. And then, sure enough, making that makes you less angry. You know, your judgment of things is different, so you don't get angered by it. And then you chill out more. And um, sure, the some people might like to see the fiery passion of anger, but more often it offends people, it intimidates people. They don't like it. So
I
um,
trust people more that can get angry. I relate to them better. I trust them better, more.
well, I think relate is an interesting word because I think it actually sort of captures the issue here is that you know um, I am not relatable, and it's unlikely that I ever will be, um, because
But you are more relatable when you're more three dimensional. And I think when
well,
you emote, that fills in some of that extra dimension.
I'm more three dimensional because I can be like this robotic Joe, and I can be this cool Joe, and I'm not necessarily one or the other, and therefore I have dimensionality. But I think what
Yeah, but
confuses
nobody
people.
sees Cujo. Like the amount of people that have seen Cujo is just a few that happen to be around. The few little
Some
times
people
he
have seen
poked
it,
his
but
head
like
out.
a lot of people don't get it, right? And that's what I'm saying is like a lot of people, even if they do see it, they don't necessarily get it. And sometimes when people don't get it, they don't like it, and when they don't like it, then they do bad things. And
But
that
like when
is
I've seen it happen, everybody that was around when I've seen it happen got it and liked it. So your your argument for why we don't see Cujo more does not track with what I've observed and
it's
my
not an argument.
experience of Cujo.
It's not an argument.
Like I don't bring out Cujo because everybody around has such a negative reaction to it, but that's the complete opposite of everything I've seen every time he's come out.
Yeah, but it's
And your
also
girlfriend said the
somebody.
same thing, and it brings in that relatability. So I don't
Okay,
know
she got
how
him.
all of
She
that
got him.
leads to it being negative.
She got him, and she would also respond badly. So she responded well and poorly to that. And then again, me, I'm in my first relationship. I'm already confused just by the fact that it's my first relationship, and she actively makes it more confusing. So, um, you know, and when I'm confused, I'm much more likely to halt, take a pause, and go, let's see how this situation develops. Or like, let's not
So
rush
is
that.
Robot Joe confused, Joe? Is that part of
It can be. I mean, sometimes it's just I'm going through life.
deer in the headlights, Joe?
Sometimes I'm well, it's definitely it's a not a panic Joe, right? It's sort of a part of how a lot of how I respond to stress these days is not panic and to have a very composed response to things, to be in control of um my reactions as best as possible so that I'm not putting my foot in my mouth or escalating a situation beyond repair. Um and so that's sort of that's a habit I developed over time. But yeah, Brittany made an issue of Robot Joe because she had issues herself, and I don't really understand what they were because she did not want to share them. Um, so I got hints of them. I think a lot of it had to do with her parents. Some of it had to do with one or more ex-boyfriends. She had a few, but um, I don't know what they were. She didn't talk very much, so that didn't help just in general. And so um, yeah, if she had communicated better and just maybe not panicked as much in response to things, I think would have gone well. But basically, I just realized, okay, she doesn't like Robot Joe, and this really just comes down to there's some sort of issue with her. This isn't going to work out. It's going to be a lot of work for me to get no result, and I just need to call it. We're not a good fit.
So you're the one that broke it off.
Yep, yep. I thought about it after once I basically figured this out. I thought about it for a day, like what do I do? And then after that, I'm like, yeah, I got to do it. And I called her up and I told her,
Were y'all able to remain friends afterwards?
nope, I wanted to do that. She would not be about that at all. She was so
Uh,
taken aback by it that she could not stand to see me. She never came back for her things. I still have a few of her things.
wow.
I have her favorite movie on DVD. Despicable Me is her favorite movie. She brought it here to watch it on DVD with me because I had not seen it. She loved the movie. She didn't come back to get her favorite movie. She was so appalled by my decision to dump her.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mm.
And how long ago was this? How many years?
This was in 2020, so we're coming up on it's about almost 5 years to the day that we became a couple.
Wait, this was
So
all in the middle of COVID?
yeah, pretty much right as the pandemic started, we became a couple. That's almost like exactly when it happened. Like I had my first kiss while Chapel Hill was like on full lockdown. The city was empty. We were standing in the middle of. I was taking her back to her car after we'd been hanging out at my apartment that night, and we both worked at Starbucks because that's where we met. So her car was still parked there, and so I drove her back there, and then I decided to give her a kiss goodbye. And it's like what maybe like midnight, and like the city is dead. It's like you wouldn't you it was so empty. It's fucking Chapel Hill. But like there's a lot of people there. It's so empty at night. There's so many lights out. Like it was really dark, and it's like it's an urban area. It's like there's usually things lit up and going on. It was fucking dark. It was like I'd never seen it before. It was so weird. And everyone's like avoiding the virus and social distancing and trying not to get contaminated. And then I'm like, you know what? I'll give my first kiss a try.
That was your very first kiss ever?
Yes.
Wow. How was it?
not very good. The second kiss was way better. So
Oh,
it was
with the
little.
same
It was
girl though.
little. Yes, yeah. No, like so, like a day or two later, we went on a walk, and then we sat on a bench, and she like sat on my lap and like faced me, and then so like the first one, I just sort of leaned in and gave her like a polite good night kiss kind of thing. So it
Oh,
wasn't very, you know, exciting. And then um when um there's this trail by the library because she told me she liked walking trails, so we tried that, and it was like evening. It was like a thing where like the sun was really low and it was like really twilight and stuff, and so we're sitting there. She's like sits on my lap facing me, and we're like kind of just sort of like, I don't know, like um being all touchy feely, and then I just sort of like uh kind of lean over and I like start kissing her neck, and I just sort of go up one kiss at a time until I like get up to her like face and her mouth, and then we start kissing, and it's like a intense make out session. That was the second one. That was way better. And she never could. She did tell me maybe a few days after that that the first kiss was, kind of bad, but
oh,
she
how did
she
she
never.
phrase that?
I don't remember how she said. She
Oh,
was not mean, but she was just frank that it was not great. But she never had anything bad to say about the other kisses.
well, it
And
takes two people to kiss. It's not all just one person.
well, you know what? Let's travel back in time 5 years so you can tell her that. Anyway, um, so yeah, that was um how that went.
Wait, what? Hey, hang on. Hey, Origins. I like the name. You were on Zat's panel, and I was there. Oh, do you mean was he streaming us? Is that what you mean? He was well. Wow, I'm flattered, and welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Cool. Well, Joe, apparently more people. We have a wider audience than we realized.
Yeah, I talk about having a girlfriend for a change, and they're like, "Oh my god,
So I,
finally
I don't.
something interesting."
I'm wrestling. Maybe I can relate to the Cool Joe, Robot Joe thing because I'm kind of split right now between two parts of myself, and I'm wrestling with the curious, nosy part that wants to know more, and the tactful part that I didn't even realize I had. Really, I guess until now, but I'm sure that our audience is curious if that was your first kiss. Can we make further assumptions from that?
I mean, I guess. I mean, insofar as you can always make further assumptions about information. Um,
Well, I mean, I
I,
guess accurate assumptions. I don't want to.
I feel like there are detailed questions that are just waiting to be asked.
Well,
But
there are. I'm trying. That's the tact part. I'm trying to not come out and put you on the spot here,
okay,
or
that's fine.
pry or delve too deeply into your personal business.
Okay.
So, but if that was your first kiss, have you had experience at other things?
Um, what were the other? So the other things that we did were
Well, just in general,
um
like maybe not even with her.
oh no, she's the only girl I ever did anything with.
Oh,
And what we
okay.
did really just amounted to
I think
we
I
would
got
like
my
lay
answer.
together. We would like lay together in our underwear a lot. I give her massages, you know, touch her boobs a lot, but we didn't do anything really besides that.
So, like, is that first base? That's second base, I
That's
believe. If
second
I have
base.
my
Yeah,
bases,
second
so
base.
second base is as far as you've ever gotten.
Yep.
Okay, that's all right. That's useful information. That actually that clarifies a lot. Okay, I have a better idea of what we're working with here. Um, I, I don't know if I'd call them personas. You know, when you have like competing impulses within yourself, and usually it's like an initial impulse of what you would be if you didn't second guess yourself based on like civilization or social code or social rules.
Yeah, that or just the fact that I think it's the fact that the human brain has the prefrontal cortex, and that's the
Yeah.
part of our brain that, whether it's for social reasons or just what's smart, it makes us go, wait a minute, that's fucking stupid. Don't do
But I
that.
think isn't curiosity there too? Like the wanting to
Yeah.
know and question is
So
also
a
in the
lot of
prefrontal.
so yeah, our complex personality is in there, but that's also the part that, like, if you damage our prefrontal cortex, we lose our impulse control. Like, people who have damage there become a lot more impulsive. They just do shit and they don't worry about the consequences. And like, that's a
That
known
could
thing to
explain
occur.
things too.
And and uh so yeah, so but I definitely agree. It's like this part of um when, like, we talk about, like, you know like Cool Joe or Robot Joe or whatever version of Joe. It's like, these are all basically the different impulses in me. And I sort of, I don't know if I have really a regimented system beyond just the very vagueness that is Stoic philosophy, but um um that's sort of just, guides like which part of me is coming out or whatever. I certainly have the impulses for Cool Joe and Robot Joe going on when I'm one or the other, right? It's not like they just
You
disappear.
talk like you're there's a lot of diversity and you alternate, but it's pretty much all Robot Joe all the time.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't detect many things in which the other impulses, or what, that side of me really has much room to flourish. Um, and there's been a couple scenarios where it's like that, but it's just most of the time not.
Oh, you either you cut out or I cut out. Let's see.
I'm still here.
Oh, I saw your avatar moving, but I wasn't hearing anything. But I hear you
Oh,
now.
okay.
I think this is. I actually think this has been a good conversation tonight. I think it. I think we did get a little deeper under the surface and a little more than Robot Joe. So it like, even though we didn't get Cool Joe, I think that we expanded beyond Robot Joe.
Well, I would think there's more than two Joes anyway. So
Yeah, there are. It's layers and dimensions, and I think, I don't know. It seemed like you opened up a little more than you normally do, and there was a little more realness. Is not the right word, because I don't think you're necessarily being false all the other times, but there was just more something present tonight than anyway.
it's like
The
it's like one of those things where it looks like a bunch of, like, random objects, but if you stand in the right place and look at it from the right angles, the objects line up into, like, an image or a shape that you can clearly see.
Is that like those 3D stereograms?
Kind of, yeah. So
Oh,
maybe you
yeah. I
saw it from a
think
better angle.
tonight we got like peered a little bit into the stereogram, and some of it took more shape. At least for me, I had a different sense from tonight's conversation than I get from most of our regular conversations.
Well, there you go. It's a fireside chat, so
That's true.
maybe that's
Oh.
maybe that's fulfilling the purpose.
Well, maybe it is. That's what Notlaws was saying earlier, that you can create specific environments that bring out different,
Yeah.
whatever, like different aspects, different things, like whatever you try to bring out. And I know that's true on drugs. If you're trying to have certain experiences happen with drugs, the environment can contribute a lot to that.
Virgin says, "How do you know you're not spiritual possessed?" Possessed. I don't know what that question means. How do I know I'm not spiritual possessed? You mean like possessed by a spirit?
I guess all of these different aspects. How do you know they're not
And I don't
spirits?
believe in spirits, so I don't generally assume that one would possess me.
Because that's a primitive way of looking at psychological phenomena, and even the Greeks before rationalism assumed that emotional and psychological states were the result of external, like interference from external entities.
Huh. Exactly. Oh, she's just got spirits.
Yeah, it's demons, and there's still. I've talked to people on streams that still think mental illness is deep, like people that are religious or Christian. That mental illness is demons. Still to this day.
Didn't they think you're gay with demons? And they try to
Sometimes
like,
gay is demons. Yeah,
did
yeah.
they try to take you to something to
My
think you're
mom
gay?
did. Yeah, she took me to one of those. It was the big mega church on TV, like the big TV preacher, and she took me to him, and he suggested an exorcism, and that's where she drew the line. I think that was like part of the record scratch where she started to pump the brakes and say, okay, even that's a little too crazy even for me. I don't think my son needs an exorcism. I don't think we're at that point. And so she declined. She's like, no, thank you for offering. I don't think we're quite there yet.
How old were you when that happened?
Oh my God, I was like 20 to my 20, maybe 19, 20. I was an
Wow. Okay.
adult.
So you went willingly. You're like, sure, okay.
Yeah, because she was struggling. That's when we went to PFLAG. I took her to PFLAG meetings and that kind of stuff because I was trying to help her get comfortable with it and adjust to it because she
Oh,
was having a lot of difficulty. So I was trying all these things to help her cope, and I was cooperating with the things she was wanting to try, like going to see this preacher.
so that helped her realize on her own terms, this doesn't make sense. I need to
Yeah, I
rethink
think that
this.
was a turning point for her. Like,
Ooh.
it was more about her because, like, I didn't have a problem with it, and nobody else around me did, but she was really struggling. So it was like my effort to try to help her with her struggle with it.
Well, that's good, I guess. Huh?
And you eventually, and I think like a few years later, the Pope actually came out and said that it was okay to love your gay children. And so I think when that happened, she kind of, but really the real turning point, and I said it before, was when she started meeting other gay people, like all my gay friends, and they could do her hair and help her decorate her house and do all this gay stuff. And then suddenly I was not gay enough. Like, why? It was like, why can't you be like all your gay friends and do all this wonderful gay stuff for me? So
And
she
you're
did a
like,
complete 180 on the gays after
yeah,
that.
it's because I'm more of a punk than a gay. Don't you know me, Mom?
Yeah. So she had her journey, and it took
How
her
did she feel?
further than I even foresaw.
How did she feel about the punk side of you?
Well, she freaked out. The problem with her is because she knew about the punk side and the weird music and all that stuff, but she freaked out one day because of the colored hair. I was doing my hair. I think it was robin's egg blue, or maybe it was the green, and she was not having it because in her mind, and I didn't understand this back then, but I understand it now. She thought that if I walked around with colored hair, that people would assume I was gay or know I was gay. And I kept trying to explain to her that colored hair doesn't mean gay. There's all the little punk kids are coloring their hair, and most of them are straight. It's not a gay thing. But today, that's exactly what it means.
Yeah.
It's like code for being one of the alphabet people. And so she did not want a kid with colored hair. And of course I did it anyway. She threatened me. She's like, if you dye your hair, you're going to be out on the street. And I dyed my hair anyway. And all her lady friends were over at the house. And when they saw it, they loved it. They thought it looked so cool. And then she tried to play it off like, oh, yeah, I told him that was a good color and everything. And I'm like, no, you lied. You told me you were going to put me out on the street if I colored it. And now you're trying to pretend like you like it because all your friends are liking it. So that's what turned around on the hair color. But that she freaked out about the hair color more than anything else. And again, because of the association with gay.
Ah, okay.
So the spiked dog collar, the t-shirt, like the goth t-shirts, all that stuff, none of that bothered her as much as the blue hair. Or the green hair. I can't remember which.
Poor mama. Poor old mama.
Poor mama. I put that woman through hell.
Did you test her if
Just
there is a
being
God?
myself.
If there is a God, did you put her through the test of life?
Probably so. Of all her children, I probably did it more than any of the others. But it was, I think that's probably where I learned, like, being yourself comes with a price, and she was that price more than anything else. Like, the consequences of me being myself showed up in her, and so I was constantly at, like, my whole life as I grew up, dealing with the consequences of being myself through her reactions to it. And like every single time, I refused to compromise or back down. And we just worked through each reaction as it happened. And we still kind of do it, but much less as adults.
It's funny because when I think about it, like as a kid, like I was such an obedient, well-behaved kid, like, well, very straight edge, basically, is the way of putting it. And I did not really like, to the extent that I rebelled against my parents, it was like a very vanilla form of it. And it was like, like me rebelling against my parents is how the rebel kids behaved on their like best days and stuff. And it just, it's like, it just wasn't really that much. And it took, it took a lot of instigating by my mother. Like probably the most I would do is I would just say things to like mess with her, to like get in her head or whatever.
Like fuck with her.
Yeah, like I just get her head and just be like, "Oh, what are you doing? Jerry, you just said this. You're just messing with your kid."
You would troll your mom.
Oh, I was a master of it. I would have all kinds of ways of trolling her. It's like it's the only thing I could do to get back at her. And so, so yeah, I would just come up with all kinds of ways to troll her. She's like, "Why do you always mess with me?" And it's like, what do you mean? Why do I always mess with you? It's because you're fucking annoying.
Oh,
You're asking for it.
Because you make it so easy, Mom.
She makes it easy, but she's a tyrant. And so if I saw an opportunity to knock her down a peg, of course I took it. But even then I did it within limits. Like I would not go full blown rebel. Like I would not have like dyed my hair or gotten a tattoo or done any of that shit. I like stayed away from that stuff.
What did you do? Like stay up later than your bedtime?
Yeah, I would stay up late. I would be talking to people on MSN, maybe too late, and maybe people that reminded me of something. But like, but I didn't like go out and do stuff. I would say I was like a gamer kid. I mean, I did my homework. I often had my homework done at school before I even got home, and then I would play video games at home, and then chat on forums and MSN and
that
stuff.
That doesn't sound like a bad life, actually.
I mean, it was certainly not
you don't sound like a problem child at all.
I was not a problem child in that I did not cause problems. But part of why I secluded myself is because it just didn't make sense to be around my mother much because she was such a crazy person.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. That makes total sense. That seems healthy, in fact.
Especially like middle school to high school, like things were thin ice with her. She really got fucking crazy during those years. And so yeah, so like I just didn't rock the boat too much. And you know, got good grades, you know, didn't skip class or anything, didn't do drugs, didn't party, didn't do anything sneaky really. The most I did to rebel was just say things to mess with her head and, you know, do it very artfully. Um like I remember one time it's silly that this mess with her so much. We should- So okay, this would not just one time, this is something I did quite a few times. But like she would call on the landline, you know, I'd see the call ID. She would almost always call when she was like on the way home for some reason, to, like let us know. And which to me, when I look back on, it, I'm like, that really wasn't necessary, unless she was like coming back from the grocery store and had a bunch of groceries. But anyway, um, she's like, "Hey, I'm on the way home," and so I'd answer because I'd see her on call ID. I'd go, "Hello," and I do it like a really deep hello, and she's like, "Yeah," she's like, "I'm on the way home." I'm like, "Okay, I'll be waiting." And she's like, "Child, stop it! It makes me feel like I'm talking to somebody else." Ah! She'd freak out, and
Oh,
that's
you
why I
would?
do
Could
it.
you would change your voice?
Yeah, I'd be like,
Oh.
yeah, I'd be like, "Hello." And she's like, "I'm on the way home," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll be waiting." She's like, "Stop it! You're freaking me out. You sound like you're somebody else." She would actually get panicked,
Oh
and
my
then
God, poor
and then
woman. She
and
sounds
then I
neurotic.
she is neurotic. She's fucking crazy. Okay, I'm
Uh,
telling you, she was never well. I'm surprised I didn't turn into like an evil person being raised by her. But my twin sister, did not turn out well. She is barely functional as an adult. Who am
yeah,
I at my 20s?
you seem very more or less healthy, relatively healthy, reasonably
Yeah.
healthy.
Some of that is I worked on myself in my 20s. So which
In
is
fact,
not
you might
unlike
have
what I
taken it too far in the opposite direction. Might be too healthy.
no, that's just the Satanist talking. But
Well,
um
maybe so.
yeah, but yeah, I instead of like becoming bitter and vengeful at the world, I just sort of looked at like the way my mother treated me and my sister and my father. So the way she treated the three of us, I should say. Um Not like they all treated me badly. She really was really mostly just her. And to the extent that I have a bad relationship with my twin sister, it is very obvious in retrospect it was because of the instigation of our mother. And how she pitted us against each other a lot, like throughout our childhood. Um which when I look back is actually quite cruel, but um um I look back at that and I said, okay, well, um don't be like that. Like you hated it when your mother did it to you. It does not make sense to act like that. And if you have reflexes like that, those are bad habits you learned from your mother. You need to unlearn those. You need to work on that, Joe. And so I did work on that stuff. And then the result is that I become more robotic. It's not like I, you know, learn whole new habits, but I'm mostly just focused on, don't be mean and bitter and evil to other people. And, um, focus on, one thing she would not do was listen. Even when she said she was listening, she wouldn't be listening. She would just start arguing with you. And I'm
Oh,
not making
so
that like
that's why you listen. You take the time to listen.
she didn't listen to. If she just sat down and listened to people for 5 fucking minutes, her life would have been so much easier.
Listening is a skill.
It's a skill. And I've had
And
other things, like I've had jobs where like that was the part. So I also kind of just professionally developed it, and I got better at it that way too. Yeah. So, um, but yeah, like that's the stuff. It's So when I say like I'm a changed man and stuff, it's like um, a lot of it's that, and some of it is well, I would say it all came somewhat organically, right? There's certain things that were more, we'll say, natural in the sense that they were learned or they were deeply ingrained into me early on. that were, me as a child. But then as I, become an adult, I had to figure out what's best. And it's
Yeah,
still
I
an
think
evolving
that's
process.
that's true for everybody. I think that's a normal, healthy developmental path for everybody.
Yeah. And it's like some people, the way their parents will raise them will require very little readjustment. And for other people, almost nothing that their parents teaches them is right. And it requires a lot more adjustment. And wherever I am in that spectrum, I figured out how much I needed to work on. There was definitely quite a bit that was just a lot of what my mother taught me. Um, the way I look at it, most of my good traits are the ones I get from my father. I don't really feel like I have any good redeeming traits from my mother. I almost look at her as like my evil half. Like if there's like a how we often think there's like a good side and a bad side, or a light half and a dark half in us. In my head, I've reasoned that my father is the good side and my mother is the bad side, and they're at war with each other. And so, when in doubt, you sort of like ask, well, what would my father do if he were in control of the situation, right? Well, instead of blaming somebody, he would focus on solving the problem, and then nobody has a problem anymore. And then try to enjoy life again after that. But my mother didn't even care about fixing the problem. She just cared about putting the blame on somebody else so that um, she wouldn't be punished or something. So, I don't do those things. And it's also a big reason why I don't escalate shit on your panel, even though you're like, be your authentic self. I'm like, I'm
But
my
I
authentic
don't think
self
I
is
don't even see you as capable of escalating. It's just like your rebellion against your mom. Your idea of escalation is going to be so
okay.
milk toast compared to what I've seen from all these other people in the Petaverse.
So
That I don't
it's
I
not
don't
like we
think
didn't
that
have
you
arguments in the house. Like I yelled at my mother before. I've cussed at her.
you can yell and
That
cuss on the panel.
Yeah, but that never helped the situation. And her tendency to escalate things like that didn't help. So I don't like going that way. I know I don't like going that way, so I don't do it anymore.
Well, in fact, if you ever wanted to practice escalate, that panel's probably a good safe place to do it. Because whatever the consequences from your escalation, I'm probably going to be able to handle it and manage it because I have a
Maybe.
lot of experience doing that. So if you ever
Right.
wanted to get some practice at that escalation, I guess don't hold. I don't want you to hold back from fear of escalation. That's probably of all the contexts you could escalate. My panels are probably the ones that are the most resilient with the least amount of fallout from it.
That may be, but I like escalation is really only worth it if there's actually something on the line, and there's really not anything on the line on a panel. So
that's very true.
like in the military, we learn how to escalate, and escalating involves pointing your gun at somebody, right? So that I can do if I'm ever in I guess that position of authority or responsibility again. Like I've been trained to kill people. I can do that. Um, I'm grateful I haven't had to, but I mean, at the right situation, I know how to make it happen. I could train people to make it happen. I could form my own. I could do like those really like right wing people do, like form my own militia out in the mountains or whatever. I
You
could I
don't
could
think
train
left people do that? Have their little t- eh, like Antifa terrorist groups?
No, those aren't militias. That when they do it, it's called activism.
Oh, okay.
But also, they don't function like a militia. They don't have enough organization and structure. So like the militias will have captains and stuff. They're going to be more organized. They're
What about this death cult? They seem very
We'll see. We'll find out.
organized. Something. There's
Anyway,
something.
it is getting late, and I'm getting tired, so I can't go on much longer. But it was good talking, Jeff.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed it. I'm glad you hopped up.
Yeah,
And
and
if I don't see you for Valentine's, have a good wargaming night. I hope South Korea wins, and I'll see you for Saturday.
Sure. And if you don't, maybe I ran into that girl with the big ass. So
Right. Let me
I'll see you
let
guys
me
later.
know the BBL. Well, she's not Latino, is it? What would she be? A BBW?
No, BBW means something else. Anyway,
Oh, what is
uh,
BBW?
uh, it's a fat woman basically.
Oh,
If it's a girl, it's a pog, a fat ass white girl. Pog.
okay.
Yeah.
The POG.
All right. Anyway, good night, folks.
Take care. Good night. Jack, you've had a very dramatic life too, it sounds like. Yikes. And kind of like Joe, it seems like you've learned to modify and revise whatever you needed to not be like those people. Okay, I guess there's not much else going on after that. That was it was a good stream. I'm glad I came out tonight. Maybe I'll try to do more of these little fireside chats. In fact, with the work schedule like it is, my streaming may start to take more of the form of these impromptu vertical streams when I can fit them in. And I'll try to schedule the panel type streams. This is going to be a learning curve for me to figure out how to adjust my streaming to a very unpredictable schedule because it's going to change every week. I'm going to have different hours and days each week that I can. So I have to stream around that. And so it might take a week or two for me to learn how I want to start doing this. So just best thing to do is to sub and get notifications, or at least I'll show up on your subscription list or whatever. And you can make the streams whenever they show up. But I can't promise they're going to be as consistent as they have been before now. But anyway, I will definitely be out tomorrow at the usual time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and we'll have more conversation then, and who knows what else. I'll see you all then, and thanks a lot. Let's see. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Oh yeah, hang on, let me address. I hardly go on other panels anymore. I've gotten so used to doing my own thing on here. Zach stops by quite often. I see him probably a few times a week. He'll stop by here. But yeah, I need to go make the rounds and visit some of my panel buddies. We'll see what happens. Maybe since my schedule is not going to be regular anymore, hopping on other people's panels when I get a chance might be a way to compensate for some of that too. So, and good seeing you, Origins. You take care. DeMoss, yeah, my brother. Cheers to you too. Thanks for hanging out with your troll ass, I guess. And I'll see you all later. Have a great night. All right, take care.